freaked out very, very badly. Freaked out on acid.
All right, so real quick, pour this. You guys like wine? Chianti Santa Margherita, 2015, Italy. This is kind of a rare form video for me. I don't typically make videos that to comment off of other people's videos. I have before. In fact, Jason King and I used to do it quite a bit, along with Dark Fool and a couple other people. Sometimes we were trolling, and sometimes we were actually just throwing out their ideas around. But I'm going to do it now because I haven't done one for a while, and I feel like it. I just came across a video by Thomas LeRoy that he made recently called shit. I just fucking had it in my head. Called Modern Satanism is a fucking mess and it doesn't have to be. Oh, by the way, if my voice is funny, I think I have laryngitis, or starting to, so bear with me. Yeah, so basically the video he made was called Modern Satanism is a fucking mess and it doesn't have to be. He basically talks about the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple, and he expresses his frustration with both organizations, echoing almost identically what I expressed and have been since 2010 about the Church of Satan, most recently in a video last week called like the history of the Church of Satan, 2000 to 2020. And then of course, the big one was on 2012 when I got on the Thinking Atheist with Peter Gilmore, and he expressed the same sentiments about the Church of Satan basically being irrelevant and defunct and not really doing anything, and there's really no need for a organized satanic church anymore with the internet. This is something that Thomas and I talked about too, though, when we were at the winery together back in 2014-ish. So this is a sentiment we share, have been for a long time. Another one he expresses is frustration with the Satanic Temple and how it's disappointing that the Church of Satan lets somebody like the Satanic Temple come along and basically grab the headlines and grab their spot as number one. And I made this video 8 months ago when their documentary came out, and I said that the church or the Satanic Temple, like them or not, is the number one dominant satanic organization. So we're all on the same page here, but there's something. So I agree with Thomas on this. And this is something we didn't really talk about the Satanic Temple so much, but more so the Church of Satan. By the time I left the winery was when I actually got involved with the Satanic Temple for a brief period, because I was a chapter head of Portland, Oregon, for like very, very rare, very shortly. But didn't take me long to figure out what was going on. But let's hear. This is what Thomas said. I'm gonna play a clip, Thomas. I hope you don't mind, just because I don't want to misquote you, because I've had a little bit of wine, you could say that, but more so because it's quite lengthy what you said. Well, not quite lengthy, but more than I want to memorize, and I don't want to misquote you. So let's let Tom say this, and I'll add on to it.
Now, the Satanic Temple. If you haven't figured it out already, they're the ones I refer to as right-hand path Satanists. I know a lot of you say they're not real Satanists, but they are, because no one owns the copyright on the word Satanist.
Okay. Just a couple things about that statement. Is the first is the right-hand path Satanist. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I understand what being implied by saying that. I get it. But I just don't. I think that's still giving them too much credit, and I don't think the word right-hand path Satanist should even be entertained as being used as a label to describe a Satanist, because if that's what you're calling them, then they're not really a Satanist at all, which you're going to go on to say about that in a little bit, probably in the next clip I play of you. The Satanic Temple, I get it when they say they're not real Satanists, because they're not real Satanists. I don't like to throw that term around like I'm real and you're not real because I'm atheistic or LeVayan and you're a theistic or whatever. That's not what's being implied. They're not Satanists because they don't identify at all with Satanism, with occultism, with left-hand path, with anything, even remotely. I mean, maybe at the best astrology or something like that, but yeah, most of them have no interest in Satanism, no understanding of it, or occultism.
I know a lot of you say they're not real Satanists, but they are, because no one owns the copyright on the word Satanist.
No one owns a copyright on the word Satanist. I kind of disagree with that. Copyright, yeah, I know that was just an expression, but the definition is pretty well established by Anton LaVey. Now, granted, there's some room to wiggle, like say spiritual Satanist or whatever, that still understands and identifies and agrees with the foundations and the general principles of Satanism as established by Anton LaVey, who was the one who codified it, right? I'm not even sure if people used the word Satanism before LaVey, and if they did, it wasn't in the public consciousness like it was when he came along. So in that sense, if you don't adhere, or not adhere, but if you don't subscribe to the general principles and foundations as set forward by LaVey, who said this is Satanism, this is satanic, we are Satanists, and this is what we represent, and have literature and all this stuff, and organizations and whatever. If that's not what you're about, then it's cool, but you're not a Satanist. So I don't think it's okay to call yourself a Satanist if you don't subscribe to that. Now, you can identify with certain aspects of Satanism. You can even entertain the aesthetics and all that stuff. But Satanist is as defined by LaVey. Otherwise, which is probably why there are subcategories like spiritual Satanist, Luciferian, stuff like that, traditional, modern, blah, 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 right? But they don't fit in anywhere near it.
And basically, Satan is free to be interpreted any way you wish, really.
See, and I disagree with that too, because I don't think that Satan or Satanism is free to be interpreted any way you wish. And I don't think that it can be meant to mean anything you want. In fact, that's exactly what the Satanic Temple's approach is now, is that they're saying, well, Satan can be whatever I make it up to be. And I got into a long-winded argument with somebody about this on Facebook, and they're basically saying that we're going to come along and just reinvent whatever Satanism we want it to be. So now Satanism isn't, about might is right, isn't about stratification, it isn't about anything that LaVey put forward. Now it's about LGBT community, it's about protesting at fucking political things and whatever, right? So it's not Satan, it's not Satanism. I mean, there is a certain, again, amount of wiggle room, but it'd be kind of like me saying I'm just going to walk around and say I'm a Muslim, right? I'm a fucking Muslim, right? Here's my turban, okay? Shit, should have had that as a prompt. So it's like, okay, so Muslims are going to be like, you're a Muslim? I'd be like, yeah, I'm a Muslim. See my turban? I'm a Muslim. Like, do you believe in Allah? No. Do you read the Quran? No. Do you follow our ways? No. I'm a Muslim because I said I'm a Muslim. I'm just going to make this shit up. I got a fucking turban. I'm not a Muslim. I can say I'm Muslim all fucking day long. There's about 1 million car bombers over there. Muslims that are going to disagree with me. So, yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about Satanism too. It can't be anything you want it to be. There are defined parameters of what Satanism and Satan is. And if your definition is not within those parameters, roughly in those parameters, then you're something else. It's my opinion. This is exactly what the Satanic Temple is trying to say, though, is that LaVeyan Satanism isn't the only type of Satanism. It's like, you're right. There are other aspects of Satanism, which was established by LaVey, that still share the same principles, where you guys, nothing in common.
For one, even though I use the vehicle I call sinisterism on the path, I'm still a Satanist, as codified by Anton LaVey. This is because I was born a Satanist. It's who I am by nature. It's like being an introvert or an extrovert. It's a characteristic. It's a part of my being. And because of this, I feel I have every right to be frustrated with modern Satanism.
So, you have every right to be upset that someone's coming along and rewriting, a cherished belief system of yours, and not only doing that, but making a mockery of it and making all of us look stupid. Everybody has a right to be upset about that. So let's not give them the consideration by calling them even right-hand path Satanists. They're not Satanists at all. They're a political activist group using Satanism for its religious properties and protection underneath the law to push a liberal agenda and troll the shit out of Christians in the South. And they're very successful at it, you know. That they're doing a good job at it, you know, but at the same time, they're making us look stupid. We should all be upset about it. I mean, I'm not like upset, like I'm going to go out and fucking bash people's Satanic Temple. No, I'm not. I'm just like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing Satanism being misrepresented. I'm sick of people claiming to be Satanists wearing the Satanic Temple shit that never even read the Satanic Bible. And when you ask them about it, they're like, well, LeRoys is not the only Satanism. We're Satanists too, because Satan represents rebellion. It's like, yeah, okay. Go back to, you know, kindergarten with that shit. So yeah, I mean, I'm sick of it too. But fuck it, let's not call them Satanists. As far as the Church of Satan goes, Church of Satan can do whatever they want. They're still relevant, and they always will be, right? Yeah, they dropped the ball, and they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit, like I've been saying since 2010 when I resigned, they missed the bus. They pretended like, or maybe they didn't pretend. Maybe there was something, I don't know what happened, but whatever the reason was, they decided not to capitalize on it, which is why you have a successful YouTube channel, which is why I have a successful YouTube channel. And the Church of Satan? No. I think Peter Gilmore has a channel called the Satanic News Network. Or it's an official Church of Satan YouTube thing. But even with fuck YouTube, just in the whole scope of things, the Church of Satan is lying dead. Not acknowledging the Satanic Temple, except for maybe once or twice. And they did that when I was at the winery with the Village Voice, that I did the thing with Lucien and Brian Werner, and Peter Gilmore is on that too. But yeah, I mean, fuck them, you know, let them do what they want. They're going to sit around and do that. Doesn't it actually really affect Satanism though? It affects the public's perception of what Satanism is. But does it really affect Satanism? No. Satanism was here before all of them, and it's going to be here long after all of us. And it's just going to keep moving forward. What it does affect is people's perception of what Satanism is. But that doesn't affect me. I mean, it does, it kind of irritates me, but it doesn't affect Satanism or the flow or the current of where it's going. In fact, I'd almost question if it's even necessary to even call our beliefs and our philosophy Satanism anymore. Just like, is it necessary to have Church of Satan? No, not really. It was in the 60s. You know, it worked well. But even the word church and Satan should not be in the same sentence, just like, what do you call them? Right-hand path Satanists. Just like, you know, I mean, just like Nazi Jews. I mean, fuck it. Let's just ditch it all then. I mean, the Satanism no longer has the meaning that was set forward by its founder, Anton LaVey, and everybody's going to reinterpret it and just attach whatever meanings they want to it. Fuck it. I mean, I wear my shit on my sleeves, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with what the masses are going to say Satanism is. I know what Satanism is. You know what Satanism is. So fuck it. Let's just not call ourselves Satanists. I mean, is it really relevant anymore? I mean, it's going to be relevant regardless of what we call it. Let's just call it for what it is. Let's call it some dark Buddhism. We're going to get back to the source and cut through the shit. A sinister form of Buddhism.